pretty interesting meeting last week. I wonder, did you send a thank you card or a condolence card to Councilman Koretz after he waited 3 hours to talk about sharps, and then you decided not to pass the agenda item? Pretty good.
Yes, it's Eric Previn from the 3rd District. Mr. Koretz was given 3 minutes, and he did get a chance to go back to City Hall, to be fair, and take a short respite during the over an hour of illegal testimony at item 72, Mayor Wickham. So I want to say thank you for that. Very nice of you to give him that courtesy. And speaking of courtesy, I'm just so hurt today, and I feel badly for Megan Murray. Thank you for burping, sir, or laughing, whichever that was. Megan is a nice person. She was with Molina for many years. She served on so many of these seed redevelopment groups. She's a very trusted employee, and I know she's your trusted employee now, Supervisor Solis, which is why I'm so devastated when I asked Aviana Uribe, who is one of the most regal and lovely executive officers we have, and I asked, I believe it was Ms. Glasgow, who is a wonderful executive officer in her own right and brand new, fresh from Mr. Antonovich's division. And all of this group together are really a nice family, and they work well together, and they do a great job of making the various accommodations that you were a tough group to work for. We've heard about it. There are lots of passion, lots of engagement, lots of energy, all positive. But unfortunately, even despite my efforts to go up through the appropriate chain of command through this group, to get just a little clarification, if I could speak early, late, just to get my little 2 cents in on about 10 or so items. You know, I occasionally will address this board on those items. And there was no accommodation. In fact, they were shoved through quickly, early, in fact. And then when I came back and said, well, could you reconsider them so I could speak, there has been a substantial rejection of any proposal to hear from me on these agended items. So I don't know where we're going with this. I don't know if it's Mary Wickham has decided that it's Wickham's whim going forward, that we just decide who we want to hear from and where their bus can park if they're brought down by a group or not. And Mr. Previn, you just have to be on time, sir. You did your best, but you failed. Is that it? Because I feel terrible about that. I feel like the public is entitled to the comments.
I would like to just put something on the record,
Counsel.
Madam Chair, just to clarify. It's my understanding that Mr. Previn was called up to speak on items he identified as held, that he was not available, he was not here when his name was called, and therefore the chair moved on to the next individual and called them up, as is appropriate and in accordance with Brown Act rules and board rules.
What's not in accordance is when you take the liberty to berate my staff. So I would ask you to please apologize to Megan Moret.
Hello? Yeah. Right. First of all, I vigorously deny berating anybody. I simply asked her, and I wrote to her nicely. I didn't get upset at all. She was upset because I think she felt that doing the dirty work of a group in broad daylight is not fun. And I don't think that those who's endured those kinds of things with Mr. Tanaka and others is not appropriate for the County of Los Angeles employees to have to look away from the lack of courtesy to an ordinary member of the public who is diligent.
When you shove your camera in her face and you're yelling at her, that is berating and that is humiliating. So please apologize, and that's it. We'll end discussion.
Well,
Thank you.
I do not agree that I was berating her, and I was filming her because there is no berating going on.
Ruth Sarnoff and